podcast where we talk about all things White Sox. And tomorrow's the opening day. I'm Harold or Harry, and this is JJ3, your favorite co-host. We're going to talk about a couple of things today, and our first White Sox discussion is going to be about the opening roster, the 26-man roster, and we can kind of get going on who made it, who didn't, any surprises you see. You want to start, JJ?
Well, I don't see any surprises on it if we being honest with each other. No real surprises, no shocks, nothing crazy. Um, the opening day lineup as it currently stands right now, we got Andrew Benintendi out in left field, Luis Robert, of course, in center field,
Centerfield, right.
Kevin Pillar in right field, Yohan Moncada, your boy, your favorite player on the team, Yohan Moncada at third base.
Absolutely. He's got
Um,
blackmail on me. He's got blackmail on everybody because he's not giving up that third
somebody,
base spot.
somebody he got some dirt on. Maybe it's Reinsdorf. You never know. I wish he'd release that, but anyway. Um, Vaughn at first base, Paul DeJong at shortstop, Nicky Lopez at second base, Martin Maldonado, I believe formerly of the Astros, is the catcher. Eloy Jimenez at DH, where he belongs. Don't ever put that man out in the field again. And
Facts.
Garrett Crochet is your opening day starter.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Crazy. I mean, again, I said it. I said it on the previous show. The man has never pitched more than 100 innings in his tenure with the White Sox, and he's the opening day starter. So, I mean, that's the roster right there to break it down. Just the first half. I mean, what are you thinking?
I think it's not gonna last too long. I won't be shocked if Eloy gets traded way before the deadline, and Gavin Sheets probably ends up getting taken over for Eloy because right now he's our full utility player along with Brandon. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Schumake,
Close
and
enough.
then
It
Kevin
works.
Pillar,
I
which I
already
could have
told you
sworn.
Chicagoans can't pronounce names. We
Facts.
just make
I
it
could
up
have
as we
sworn
go.
we let go Kevin Pillar, but I guess we signed him back, which is awesome for him because that's you don't see that happen that much with so many teams having the most random minor league. And then the rotation is weird because we don't have our boy Kopech on it, so I guess he's officially a middle reliever now. But it's Garrett
Officially in the
Crochet.
bullpen, maybe even your closer. He might be the one closing games. His role is yet to be defined. That's essentially where
I think he walks too
Kopech
much for him to be a
stands.
closer. I think they're
Um,
especially with the
so
starting
I
pitcher
don't disagree with that.
experience.
I don't disagree with that at all. It's just he's got the velocity. Um, maybe they put him in that role. Maybe not. We just like I said, to be determined with him. That's essentially
Facts.
what his role is.
But back to the starting lineup. It's Garrett Crochet, Michael
Yep.
Soraka,
Yep.
Eric Fed, and Chris
Fetty.
Flexen. That is the most underwhelming starting rotation I have ever heard of or read out loud in my life. So it's we're definitely going to be a defense and contact hitting team. We're going to be a small ball team
With
because I don't
defense,
see any
got to
other way. This
rely on your defense to carry you as well.
with Luis Robert anchoring the defense, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be
You can
pretty good.
call him Robert. I'm calling him Robert.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just like pronouncing Robert. I always felt Robert was too generic. Like, how are you from an island or overseas and it's Robert? So Robert makes so much more sense. Relief pitchers. Yeah, you're all right, but he still could play middle. Kopech. I guess he's going to be a starting relief pitcher, which that I'm kind of shocked about. I thought it would be Garcia, but it's Kopech, Berbea, Tim Hill,
Yep.
Devi Garcia, Dominic Leone, Jordan Leisure, Steven Wilson, Tanner Banks, and Ryan Shaw. That's a lot of relievers. So I'm assuming we're gonna have it's gonna be a lot of by committee and multiple relievers, obviously per game. Which I think you said you weren't a fan of. You're more old school in your reliever. You don't like this analytics ball that it looks like we
Well,
have the
it's
lineup
not
for.
it's not the analytics that I don't like. It's the construction of the roster that I don't like to where I don't believe they have enough arms in their starting rotation to allow their relief pitchers to rest when they need it. So my concern is they're just going to burn them out way too soon. So analytics
Possible.
is dope. You got to have analytics in 2024. It only makes sense to have analytics. but I just don't believe in the roster construction that they got set up right now. So that's my issue, not the analytics.
Well, we're gonna see how it looks tomorrow. But Luis, he might be injured. I believe he is injured, so he has a real chance of missing opening day, which probably means Gavin Sheets fills in, which isn't too big of a
Not
drop
in
off
center.
as far as offense, but defense. Clearly, Gavin Sheets is no Luis Robert. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I hate that. He definitely cannot fill in for him at center. That's an awful mistake. You said it's not too much of a drop off in terms of offense. I disagree with that as well.
I feel
Robert
like Gavin's a pretty good hitter.
far
He just doesn't get
superior.
the time.
He's a pretty good platoon hitter.
I'll give you that.
So he's a guy that you want at home at guaranteed rate against the opposing team's left-handed starter. That's who you want Gavin Sheets to face. And that's the scenario that you really want to face him in. In terms of him playing every day, starting every day, home or away, probably not the best idea because eventually he'll get exposed. So that's the best scenario for Gavin Sheets. And if you're gonna play him in the outfield, you basically got to play him in right field. Definitely can't play him in center field. His defense he'll get eaten up in center field. So if, like you're saying, Robert's not gonna play, then in all likelihood, you're gonna end up having to make a shift elsewhere. So you're gonna shift one of those guys over to center. What's my man name? I just forgot his name that fast. Pilar. My
Not
bad. Pilar.
Benintendi.
No. Benintendi's gonna stay in left.
So
Who'd you say?
Fletcher.
Fletcher or Pilar. Move one of those to center, and then Sheets would be your right fielder at that point.
Because Pilar is going to be backup with Sheets and with Sheets and Shoemake, however you pronounce his name. Sheets, Shoemake, and Pilar are bench utility guys.
Okay, so yeah, either one of them. I'm gonna stick with Shoemake. You can call him Shoemake. We'll do it that way.
Okay, Shoemake. Yeah, it's spelled Shoemake, but it's probably Shoemake.
Who cares how it's spelled?
Facts. We have a real chance to actually start off hot because we're facing the also as bad Tigers. So it's going to be a bad off. It's going to be a battle of a race to the bottom.
I mean, it may be a race to the bottom. We'll see. Going into it, I'm expecting the White Sox to actually take the series. So it's at home.
Same.
I'm expecting them to take it 2-1, get off to a good start, which I believe we mentioned on the previous show. This is a series that you can win. You can't go out there and play unintelligent baseball. You can't, kick the ball all over the diamond. That'd be terrible. But if you go out, if you get good enough run support, I believe the run total is 7.5. I mean, they need to get over that. I mean, let's be honest. Like, come on now. They need to get over that 7.5 for the run total. We need to be able to handle the Tigers. There's nothing about the Detroit Tigers that should scare the White Sox.
Nothing. Not a
single Garrett Crochet is going to be making his first professional start ever. Again, we mentioned this before. But there's no one on that Detroit lineup that should really put any fear into Garrett Crochet's heart. So he should be able to go out there. He should be juiced up, ready to go. Pause, no Diddy. He should be able to go out there and have a good outing. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and produce. Give me some strikeouts. Give me at least 5 innings, and show why he got the opportunity to start day one. That's what I'm looking for.
No, I don't disagree. I fully agree. He's I don't think he'll go 5 innings. I do think they'll probably, depending on how he's doing, but if he's doing great, if he's doing bad, obviously they'll pull him early. But if he's doing great, I see the max 4 innings. Then I see a middle reliever. Max.
Okay.
Then I see a middle reliever getting maybe another split 2 middle relievers, 2 innings, and then the closer will probably get an inning. Unless they put in 2 closers, then it's 1 inning, 1 inning. I doubt we'll have a closer get 2 innings, but it is just the first day, and that closer or one of those closers or middle relievers is going to be Kopech.
Oh, most definitely. We'll see Kopech tomorrow for sure. In one of those middle innings, or again, he might be the closer. His
Facts.
role, once more, I'll keep harping on it, is to be determined. He's going to be that guy that they just play it by ear, and they're going to put him in whenever they feel like they can use a right-hander who can throw 100 miles an hour.
Facts.
So that's what we're going to see from him. But you really see Crochet only giving 4 innings tomorrow?
You say it one more time?
You really only see Crochet giving 4 innings tomorrow?
Yeah, it's just opening day. I don't know. I don't see them because he hasn't pitched that many innings in his career in general. I don't see why we put
Correct.
him at 5 or more just out the gate. I
I'm not
think we're
looking
gonna
for 5 or more. The or more part, just 5. I mean, I feel like he should be able to give us 5 innings of work, because one of those innings should probably be real clean. Like, you should be able to, strike out the side in one of those innings. You should be able to get a quick, 1, 2, 3, pop out, ground out, something like that. But one of those innings should be fast, quick, fast, in a hurry, and you keep it pushing where your pitch count is like 10, 11 pitches. Like, so that's, again, it's the Tigers. Nothing about the Tigers worries me.
I
They're
don't.
they're trash. So they've been trash for a while.
Facts.
So I'm expecting him to be able to at least give me 5. Like, if you can't give me 5 on opening day, what are we doing right now?
I don't disagree.
So that's what I'm looking for from him. But we'll see. I mean, we'll link back up and see what happens, whether it's 4 or 5 innings. If it's 4 innings, uh it might be an interesting day if it's only 4 innings from him. Because if that's the case, then he might be getting lit up.
Possibly. I think it'll just be 4 innings to preserve his arm and just to see what the middle relievers got because I do think they're still testing everything out. But I also think our defense, if our defense plays the way they should, I think our defense is going to carry a lot to the point where our pitchers can go such short innings because the defense is on point. Because that's the only way we're going to win this season is on how the defense plays. As far as offense, even though you can make a strong argument, Moncada has been our best preseason player outside of Robert. It's an offense that's honestly carried by, for right now, Aloy. Uh, you could say Moncada and Robert until Vaughn gets his bearings, but he did have, I think he had a grand slam in the preseason spring league, but that's about it. But this should be the year where he blossoms and he grows, and I won't be shocked if we see your boy, what's his face, Colton.
Colas, or are you talking about Montgomery?
I'm sorry, Colson Montgomery. I keep saying Colton. Yeah, Colson Montgomery. I won't
Yeah,
be
it's
shocked if
possible
we
we
see
might
him.
see him. It wouldn't shock
Then,
me either.
then our new guy, Drew Thorpe. No way Gavin stays number one for the year. I think we're gonna bring in Thorpe sometime this season just to test him out, see what he can do. I don't like keeping, especially pitchers. I don't like keeping pitchers in the minor leagues too long because their arms have such wear and tear. And if he's ready, he's ready. I understand hitters, but pitchers I always saw as just different. But then again, I don't understand the AAA that well. But I'm like, hey, if the guy can pitch 90, 100, and he's got control, and he's got a whip, and he's got power, what's the point of keeping him down there? Bring him up while he's got his arm ready, while his arm's going good. And I think that can happen with Thorpe and then bring him up. I don't know about the rest of the pitchers. I haven't been hearing or looking too much into them, but I do hear a lot of people talking about Thorpe. I'm like, oh, that's a good thing. Sounds like he's gonna play this year in the regular season eventually.
No, that's valid. I mean, and I guess it depends on the school of thought that you're working off of. Um, but to me, like you said, if he's ready, he's ready. Go ahead and bring him up. And when you have this type of situation where you don't have a set rotation of starters you can rely on, you don't have the deepest pen in terms of guys you can come in and bring off the pen, out of the bullpen to rely on, you're gonna need arms, which I mentioned last week. You're gonna need arms. You're gonna need people to come in and pitch innings. So yeah, he's a guy that you can definitely call up and say, okay, let's get to work. Um, so again, we harp on guys like Moncada and Eloy. So, and I don't want this to be a heavily driven stat discussion.
Right.
Um, but OPS plus, you familiar with that?
Yep.
So for anybody that's not familiar with OPS plus, it's essentially, it ties in what your on base percentage would be, the ballpark that you play in, and it factors all of those things into your offense as an individual player. 100 is league average. If you're in there up and around the 145, 150 range, you're a superb player. If you're in the 120s, 130s, you're a damn good player. Anything below 100, essentially, you're garbage. So, Yoan Moncada, do you know what his OPS plus was last year? Give
I
it a
doubt
guess.
it was that high. I'm gonna go about 100, 110.
97.
Right, I wasn't too far off.
No, you weren't too far off at all. Eloy Jimenez, you want to give him a shot?
I'm actually gonna go pretty high because I think he had his most. Was it his most RBIs? He actually played 120 games. I wouldn't be shocked if he was at like 115.
No.
Lower.
Yes. Eloy
Oh
was
wow.
at, I mean, he was above 100 though. Eloy was at about 101, 103.
Oh, so he was about the same with Moncada, give or take.
Benintendi was below 100. He was about 87.
Not
Luis
shocked at
Robert
all.
is, of course not. I mean, he had single digit home runs. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Luis Robert, best player on the team, top 5 player at his position.
Top 3. I wouldn't even say top 5. I'd say top 3.
Top 3. I could rock with it. I mean, I'm biased. I got the Sox hat on. I mean, I can just go ahead and I'll call him the best center fielder in the game. But I mean, people might argue with me. His OPS plus was 125.
Nice.
So he's definitely in that range of being, again, one of the elite position players in the sport. He's a guy who is trending towards that true upper echelon superstar range, and there's room for him to continue to get better and better and improve. So I want to see if these guys can establish a trajectory. Can any of these players, can the Moncadas, can the Jimenez, can they? Because for some of these, this might be make or break. Like for Yoan Moncada, this might be a make or break year for him. For Eloy, this might be a make or break year for them to prove that they value the position that they're in, they value the sport, and that they want to actually maximize their gifts and their talents. So I'll definitely have my eye on them in this first series to see if they get off to good starts. So
well, I know Moncada, it's his last year on his contract, and I didn't realize he's getting paid $25 million he's getting paid $25 million this year. I think he's going to have a great season.
He's in the contract year. This might be make or break to prove that you can really maximize the talents that you have. Because in terms of just raw talent, he's the second most talented player on the team as far as just raw talent and athleticism. He's behind Luis Robert.
I would have had Vaughn there.
No. Moncada is more talented than Vaughn is. Vaughn is probably a better hitter in terms of, eye on ball, but Moncada's a better athlete and has more talent than he does.
Okay.
I mean, the biggest question for Moncada, or the two biggest questions for Moncada, is how passionate is he about the game itself, and can he stay healthy? Or will he continue to have little sort of nagging injuries here or there that slow him down for a week or two, and then he has to start the ball rolling all over again to get back to producing at a quality level again? Same question about Eloy Jimenez, except his injuries are never small, minor nagging injuries like Moncada. He gets the long season injuries where he's out for 3 or 4 months, and you have to figure out a way to recover. Big questions about them, real big questions. Make or break year, in my opinion. Moncada, make or break year. Eloy, make or break year. Benintendi, can Benintendi be an average player? Again, OPS plus was 87. That's, what I'm saying, you're below average. Based on the stats, you're garbage.
And then we traded away what could have been Moncada's replacement and Jake Berger, who I'm looking at it now. He had an OPS plus of 113.
Right.
Like,
so
why
above average? Well, we can blame that on Kenny Williams.
I thought Scott Getz moved him. It was Kenny that moved him?
Kenny moved him, yeah,
Oh,
because
wow.
Getz wasn't in charge yet at that point. Kenny moved him.
You're right.
So what makes it worse, I mean, quick story on that. Tim Anderson was the guy who was going to get moved. Shout out to TA, by the way.
He had a
TA was
60
gonna get
OPS. He had
traded.
a bad last season.
TA was horrible last year. Just
Yeah, he
off
had
the
a
field
bad
stuff, just mess with him. Hopefully he bounces back next year. I'm always root for TA, but yeah, he was the one who was gonna end up getting traded. Kenny Williams and his genius brilliance that nobody else can really understand but him stepped in and said, nope, traded Berger instead, and TA stayed here. And then they released TA and he walked away for nothing.
Yeah. They didn't want to pay him $14 million, which I thought was a damn good price. What he's done over the years. It was just one bad year, right? Or am I going crazy? And it was a bit more. Could have sworn it was just one bad year,
No,
one
I mean
average
last
year.
year, last year was a really terrible year for him. Like I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on TA, but yeah, last year was a really terrible year for him.
Right, because he had two
And
All-Star seasons
because of that, he got
2 years
two
before.
All-Star
Yeah.
years before that, led the league in hits both of those times. I mean, he was a star.
He
And
could
he was
he could have
he
bounced
was the
back. He's
face
going
of
to
the
bounce back on the
organization.
Mariners, and
I,
that's going to piss me
I hope
off.
so. I hope he does bounce back actually. Marlins, not Mariners.
Right, Marlins. I keep forgetting.
But yeah, I mean, I hope he does bounce back. I would like to see him do that, and I think it would be good for him. So, I mean, we'll see. Over under on home runs for Luis Robert. What would you put that as? I want to say that his career high in home runs last year, that was his career high, was 38.
It depends where we put him in the lineup. I'd like to see him at 3 or 4 like he was last year, which he'll probably still be.
He'll probably be. That's right.
Eloy and Vaughn probably cushion him at 2 or no, because two will most likely be Moncada. Even though there's this weird thing where they tried to put him at
gonna be
1.
2. Benintendi's or Robert will probably be 1. So one of those two are going to lead off.
I'd like to
Moncada's
see
going to be second.
Paul DeJong at 1, put Moncada at 2, bring in probably Vaughn at 3, then Robert at 4, and then Jimenez at 5.
I could mess with that. I wouldn't be too mad at it.
Yeah, anywhere 3 to 5, I'm good with Robert hitting, and I'm sure he'll. I actually want it. I think he'll get 42 home runs. I think he'll increase off of what he did from last year's 38.
I was going to put the over under for Robert at 40.
Okay.
So just 2 above his career high. I think he's got the talent and potential to do it. It's just 2 more home runs. That's what I was going to put him at. Eloy, I was going to put his over under at 20. So
really,
yeah. So here's the funny thing about Eloy. When he first came up, his rookie year with the White Sox, his career high in home runs was 31. So since then, whether due to injury, whether due to poor performance, he hasn't hit more than 20 home runs since then. He had
18 is his highest.
That's what I'm saying. So he
since
had a year of 14, 10, 16, 18. So he's been in the teens that whole time.
Last year was the first year since his rookie year he played over 120 games. Though he played 122 his rookie year, 120 last year. Every other year has been 55, 55, and 84. So I'm not shocked to say 30 if he plays 140, but good luck getting Eloy to play 140 games.
I mean, look, can he hurt himself at DH? Can he hurt himself running the bases? Yes, he can. But
I was going to say he has his whole career.
I mean, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen, right? I'm hoping that he can stay healthy. Like, what was his career high in games played? You said 135?
Well, 122 his rookie year, and then 120 last year. was surprisingly his career high in games, or his second highest in games. But it felt like he was injured most of last year, and he still played 120 games. So good for Eloy.
Very good for him. But I need more home runs. That's his sole job. I mean, that's really what he's there for. Hit home
That's it.
runs, hit doubles. I mean, you're supposed to be a power bat. We got to see the power. The guarantee rate is a friendly home run environment. I need to see the bombs, right? I mean, I need to see the bombs. We got to hit it out.
Bombs are gonna come from Robert, Eloy, and Vaughn. Not Moncada will too, but Moncada, I think he's gonna be more our RBI leader than our home run guy. He might get
So
to 25,
so
but
speaking on your favorite player, um, the guy whose jersey you got hanging up, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of him, over under for him, I put at 15 as far as home
truthfully, I
runs.
don't know. He's gonna be way higher than 15. I won't be shocked to see him at 25.
I don't believe he's ever hit 25. If he has, he's only done it
He
one
did.
time. He's only done it one time. I
It
think
was one time, but it was when he was here. Is
that was probably 2019. 2019 is the best year of his career. I thought he was going to break out all the way, but it didn't happen.
We all did. We all were like, "Oh man, this is what we got back for Chris Sale. I can dig this."
Oh yeah, he had a great year, and then it was all downhill from there, and just all of the questions began to come again. The all of the little nagging issues, little soft tissue injuries, always a hamstring, a knee, an ankle, a back, always something that he has to sit out and rest 10 days for. And then when he gets back off of that IL stint, he spends the next 10 to 14 days trying to find the rhythm. And it's just a repeating cycle. So yeah, I put it at 15 because I don't anticipate seeing a ton of power out of him. I mean, if
I'm
you
gonna
if
go
you
for
see him
20
at
games.
25, then that's going to be a great year.
20 to because it's a contract year. 20 to 25, and he plays over 140 games. So
Oof.
he
20 to
he has a
25
few times. 20 to
and over 100
25
games.
and over 140 games.
You sure he don't have dirt on you? Because you over here puffing him up right now.
I'm big on guys that having a momentum their contract year because they got to get a contract to steal money the rest of the years. It's baseball.
Okay.
All you need to do is have one good year contract year, and then you can go to sleep the rest of the years, and then wake up again when it's contract year again. That's it. That's it.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
If they can let go Tim Anderson off one bad year and ignore the two All-Star years, the 2 years prior, they can definitely ignore the years prior to the contract year when you break all your personal records. Like, hey, look what I did this year. Pay me. I can see
Man,
that.
if only
I, th-
TA
I think
had
I
dirt
think
on somebody.
Will Davis, is that his last name? Yeah, Will Davis. He just got signed to the Dodgers for a 10-year, 140 million
I mean, the
today or
Dodgers got
yesterday.
real money though. They over here. The Dodgers is
I'm just saying
throwing
he,
money
he had
around
a,
to
he had a,
everybody.
he had like one good year, and they gave him all that. And like, yo, what about the other years?
They
Dodgers, what are
don't
y'all doing?
care. They got money to burn. I'm surprised you ain't
That's
got
true. Why
paid
don't
yet.
we have money to burn? Yeah,
I
we
mean,
need money to burn like the Dodgers. It's getting ridiculous how much they spend. I thought they were out of money, and they're like, nope,
but
nope. We
the
found some
Dodgers
in the
are
we
never
found some
out
in
of
some
money.
pants in the washer.
They found some somewhere in the washing machine, the dryer, whatever. Somebody tripped and fell over their wallet and said, "Oh, damn, that's 30 million right there. Pay this guy."
I'm shocked they didn't pay Otani's gambling debt. Like, hey man, yeah, we got you, dog. We'll spot you.
I mean, maybe they did. You never know. Sure,
Yeah, that's
Tiny and
true.
his
Maybe they wired him the money. Like, nah, we got you, fam.
we got you, bro. Don't even worry about it. You straight. Your money's no good over here. We'll take care of this one.
Facts. He
Only
ain't got to buy nothing in Chinatown. Drinks are free when he walks in there. Chinatown, Los Angeles. Oh, but back to the Sox. How do you feel about your boy Oscar Colas?
I feel like he has to show me something. I mean, again, he's another guy, man. He's another talented Cuban. We got all these talented Cubans that just want to underperform, but he's another talented Cuban. who just needs to put it all together. He's still super young though. I mean, he didn't play the entire
He's what?
season last
How
year.
old is
He
he?
was up and down, up and down. I want to say he's probably about 24. Maybe he might be younger than that.
I think he's
Um,
older. Because you gotta understand,
I
it's
mean, hey, look,
Cuban,
he's Cuban. He's Cuban. You
he
never
might
know.
he might really
They
be 32.
21 might actually be 31.
Yeah, I was gonna say he Cuban. It's the age numbers might be off.
No, he's supposedly 25. According to Google, he's 25.
Gotcha.
But I mean, again, I like the talent. Like I like the talent. I like the signing when they sign him as an international free agent. Like he has the potential. It's just a matter of him putting it together. I don't anticipate him putting it together as quickly as Robert did, but he's got some of the same issues as Robert. He's got some of the same swing and miss concerns in his game. Um, he's a guy that's going to get up there and just expand his zone and swing at everything. And that's one of the things that they need to try to correct with him. But he's got speed, he's got power. I mean, at one point he was being compared to Shohei. He was the Cuban Otani. That's how highly touted he was.
I can't
Um,
believe that was happening. It was happening. I just couldn't believe it was happening.
it was happening, and he was in Japan at one point when it was happening. So yeah, he had a lot of hype and a lot of gas surrounding him. Um, now that he's here, he just has to put it together. So
Facts.
between AAA and the big league roster, he's got to find some level of consistency. If he finds that, he'll be the everyday right fielder for this team from whatever point he figures it out, puts it together going forward. He'll be there, slotted in the lineup every single day. Because you can't deny the talent. You just have to wonder about the passion, the consistency, and the approach at the plate so that he doesn't just go up there and just hack away and end up striking out every time.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
So, what other players you have your eye on? Because I mean, I definitely got my eye on again Colas. I got my eye on Colson Montgomery. I keep bringing his name up every week. I keep bringing his name up because I want to see him eventually be at that shortstop spot. Anybody that you got your eye on specifically?
Not really. I think this team slowly becomes. Assuming we keep Robert, I really hope that we keep him because everyone talks about him potentially getting traded because Cease got traded, which means we're
Right.
doing a fresh start. But Robert is kind of young. I think the team's going to be more built around Robert and Vaughn. So I'm looking at Vaughn. If Vaughn also starts rising, because he's the heir to Abreu, and of course Robert is already on the rise, I think that can help the future a lot. Obviously, we're not going to keep Mancada, so he's honestly playing for another team. But he's going to do great this season. Um,
I hope
then
so.
if our then if our pitching prospects pan out in combination with at least two of the five in the starting rotation here, bring them up, and I think it already feels like we're gonna have a great future. Just right now is year two of whatever building block stage this is. I just really wish we'd have kept Tim Anderson, but it makes sense. You let him go because he'd be asking for 14 million, which does not justify last season, and it would have been the last year of his contract anyway. So if he does great, well, someone's going to offer him 25 per, so he gets let go anyway. Might as well. But I still feel we should have traded him for something. Like we can't just let him walk for nothing. But it is what it is there. But I see Vaughn and Robert killing. Don't know what to say about Aloy. He can be worth keeping because it's a power hitter that won't cost much because he's only a DH. But at the same time, he's a power hitter that's only a DH, which yeah, I don't know how useful that is long term. You can kind of put anyone at DH if all
It's
they're gonna do
useful
is
long term as long as you hitting bombs out the park.
right,
Like
which
if
he's
you're
not because of injuries.
right, exactly. He hasn't been doing that. The potential is there. I mean, I clearly remember Eloy Jimenez going to Wrigley Field and destroying that team on the north side. It was a glorious, glorious,
Absolutely.
glorious day, glorious series, by the way. Um, but the potential is there. I mean, he's a guy who should be able to go out and hit 45 homers every season. The talent is there. He should be
And
able to
it's been
go
what,
out there
6
and
years?
rake.
We don't it's like football. You don't need 6 years to watch a QB develop. Eloy's been here about 6 years. It's we don't need 6 years to say, "Hey, how about you finally get back to 40?" I won't be shocked if he doesn't get to 40, but
I won't be shocked either. That's not
so
shade, by the way. Is that
no, right, right.
QB shade that you throwing in there once again?
Not QB shade, just saying you don't need lots of years to see, not necessarily a QB reach his potential, to see what his ceiling might be. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, all right, we'll give you 3 more years to throw 40 touchdowns, for example. If you're only throwing 10 touchdowns a year or Kenny Pickett 6, I'm not gonna just say, hey, next year you're gonna throw 40. Like, how long do you wait? So with Aloy, you really don't need to wait that long. So I won't be shocked if we trade him this year to get something for him, because you can replace Aloy with someone who can't just DH better, but probably play other positions too, which in my opinion should have been Jake Berger, but he's gone. So we got to draft another Jake Berger and figure that out, which
Very
I was
true.
thinking maybe it would have been Cespedes, but I don't even see Cespedes in talks as far as minor league stuff. Apparently he fell
He's
off really
not.
hard.
Yeah, I said that last week. He's not.
You did?
Yeah. He Cespedes is not. I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan. I don't see any real reason to even think about him at the moment. I also don't expect Robert to get traded, honestly. He's still young. He's still very much controllable. He's got like 4 more years left on his contract. He's
Facts.
a guy that you can keep around. You ain't got to really worry about much arbitration as he's concerned. So you can keep him around for a few more years until you get this thing turned, and he can remain your star attraction. So I don't see him getting traded. Now, again, if somebody picks up the phone and calls up the White Sox and Chris Getz answers and they says, yeah, we'll give you our 5 of our top best prospects, that might change the discussion, but I don't anticipate that happening.
No.
Especially since Getz allowed himself to get played as far as Dylan Cease is concerned. So I don't trust his negotiation anyway, but we'll, we might touch on that on a different show. But yeah, I don't anticipate Robert actually going anywhere. I think he'll remain. I think Aloy will remain. Um, and I think Moncada will probably remain as well until the end of the year. Again, make a break for him. Next year, like you said, he'll probably be on a different organization, but it all depends on how well he produces or does not produce. And Aloy, the same thing. I mean, Aloy is going to have to come out and rake early and often in terms of him being moved by the deadline. Because other than that, what team is trading for him? You already explained it perfectly yourself. He's a DH, and if he's not hitting bombs, he can't play any other position on the field. He can't play in the outfield. You definitely wouldn't dare play him in the infield. So
Facts.
you got to stick him at DH and hope that he just is hitting doubles and home runs every at bat. That's where his value is. If he's not displaying that value every day that he plays, no team's going to come calling for him. So I don't anticipate a trade for him at all either. To me, the guys that are going to get traded are the pitchers. You're going to be relying on some of these arms to come in and do something. Whomever the Sox settle on, a closer perhaps. These guys that are going to be coming in relief. Those are the guys that you might be looking at. The Steven Wilsons that they got from the Cease trade, guys like that are the players that you're going to say, okay, he'll be moved at the deadline because he seemed to pitch well enough to warrant it. And some teams are going to say, hey, come in for us in the playoffs and get us out of a jam in the 6th inning and then go sit down. Like that, those are the guys that I really expect to see get moved. Not not anybody from a position standpoint. And also to your previous point, Vaughn, I expect Vaughn to be, again, just like Robert, to be the faces of the team, to be the guys that they're gonna stack this thing around on their timeline of what they believe they'll be better at.
I agree. I mean, oh, yeah, that I fully agree. So then on to our last and probable final topic. What do you have our over under as far as wins?
Well, I mean, Vegas has the wins at 60 and a half. Um, Pacoda Projections, which is based off of Baseball Prospectus, has the White Sox at, I want to say 65, 65.7.
I like it.
Fangraphs, I want to say, has the White Sox at 60, 66. So you're looking at anywhere from about 60 to 64 wins, basically, anywhere in there. Um, I'd probably put it I'd probably put it at about 65.
Yeah, I had it about 66 wins. 70 would be amazing, but 66 wins. Baseball's such a weird sport. Texas Rangers got 66 wins the year before the championship last year, and then last year they won it all with. I don't even think they hit 90 wins. So there's always hope for the Sox to win it all with no one. Base as long as you've got defense and apparently bullpen closing, you can do a lot in baseball.
You got to have
Um,
pitching in baseball, especially in the
yeah,
playoffs. You got to have pitching. You got to have left-handed power. The Rangers spent some good money and they made some good moves, and that's why they were able to make that leap, and that's why they were able to win the World Series. So, um,
they
yeah,
got Corey Seager. I know for the World Series, but outside of that, I can't think of who else they got. No, not JP Martinez. Yeah, I can't think of too many of their free agent signings.
I mean, you want to go down that rabbit hole? I mean, we can, but the
No, no, no.
the Rangers made some moves to get themselves in a good spot. The White Sox need to be trying to do the same thing. They
Right.
need to be trying to make moves to get themselves in a solid position going forward. Um,
They didn't even
'Cause
use Scherzer that they traded for.
no.
Scherzer got an
Um,
easy title.
but yeah, if we're talking about win-loss record, man, you're looking at probably about a good 64, 65 win team. Like you said, 70 would be great. Um, as a manager in Grifol, I don't know if you can technically survive back-to-back 100 lost seasons. That's what you'd be looking at. I don't know if you can survive that, but we'll find out. I mean, again, it's a long year, and you got to definitely find your wins where you can find it, and it's got to start tomorrow. Like, go out tomorrow, beat Detroit, right? Go
Yeah.
out there and put up 6 runs at home on the first game of the year and beat them. They're not facing a juggernaut. Now you will when Atlanta comes to town. Like that's gonna be a juggernaut. Get your sleep before
Atlanta's
that.
always tough.
Yeah,
Man,
get your sleep before that series starts. But in terms of Detroit, man, go out there, take this first one. Take the second one. Try to get the brooms out on when the series resumes and finishes up over the weekend. Try to get the brooms out for the first one of the year. That's what they should be trying to do. Like treat these games against the other bottom feeders in the division. Treat these games against them bottom feeders like it's the World Series and go out there and smack them around. And because those are where your wins really need to come from. Go out there tomorrow and punk the Detroit Tigers. I mean,
agreed.
honestly, just go out there
Super agreed.
tomorrow, open up the year, start off strong, and beat these guys. It should be a series you win 2-1, and really try to sweep them. Try to get the brooms out for the first series of the year. Get those brooms out, sweep Detroit, and try to start your year off in the best foot possible. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long season.
Yeah, it is. But you got to look for your wins where you can and play hard, man. That's really, as a White Sox fan, that's the first thing that I want, man. Go out there and I want to see guys play hard and perform. You know, I'm not expecting them to go out there and win 100 games. I'm realistic about where this team is currently. They are in a rebuild. Whether they say it plainly or not, this is a rebuild. So in a rebuild, I want to see guys go out there, give effort, play hard, perform as to the best of their ability, and get their wins where they can get them. If they do that,
Yeah,
then I think most fans will be pleased with that.
absolutely.
So yeah, man. Anything else? How we feeling?
Um, I'm saying 66 games. I don't know where they'll come from, but we should at least be be handily whooping the teams that are just as bad. Our issue will be the perennial playoff teams, the Atlantas, the Dodgers, the Yankees. Now the Rangers out of nowhere, the world champions. Who else? We have to worry about AL teams, of course, a lot more than NL teams. The AL's not as tough, but
Not
it
as
seems
tough.
like a lot of the
Yeah,
competitions in the NL.
yeah, it's not as tough as it used
Astros
to be.
are always a bane of our freaking existence.
That's facts, unfortunately. I mean, the
Uh,
AL Central is not as tough as it used to be, right? Like I mentioned
Facts.
earlier, the division is not that strong. Minnesota, Cleveland, Kansas City, Detroit, whom
It's
I've
up for
already talked
grabs.
about, it's up for grabs. So, you get off the better start you get off to, the better this team can feel about themselves going forward. And then you just play it game by game, week by week, and see what happens. That's really all you can do. Do that, and then at the end of the year, when we start winding things down, you see where you at.
Quick hypothetical question for you. What do you
Yeah.
think's easier to do? Easier to quickly turn your team around? Pull a Yankees and Dodgers and try to get all the heavy bats that you can, or pull a Diamondbacks and Rangers and focus strictly on pitching? And your hitting's weak, but your pitching strong. What's the quickest way to turn a team around? Of course, both need defense plus one of those two to win, whether it's heavy bats or starting rotation five. But what would you rather do? For example, if we trade Eloy, might as well go after pitching. If we trade Robert, might as well go after pitching. If we trade Mancada, which I wish we would have did that with Tim Anderson, might as well go after pitching because I don't see one a bunch of hitters available anyway, and then two, it seems like hitters just cost a lot more. It's better to go after pitching because pitching you might get more value at pitching. Good luck finding a perennial 30 home run guy not asking for 100 million for however many years.
Um, Give me the hitters.
No, I'm just saying in
Give me,
general.
yeah.
No one specific.
No, no, no. I know what you mean. Yeah. Give me the hitters. I'll take the hitters over the pitchers. That's what I
Okay.
prefer to build it
Oh,
off.
that's what you meant. Right, gotcha.
Yeah. I'd prefer you build it up with the hitters first. Give me the guys because they're going to be the ones that are playing every single day, right? I mean,
True.
whether it's that outfielder, whether it's that premier third baseman or first baseman, those are the guys that are in the lineup every single day. That pitcher, he's pitching every fifth day. Now, when he's a stud, when he's an ace, you can rely on him to, start winning streaks for you, end losing streaks for you. So that guy's definitely important. But to me, I want the hitters. I want the everyday position players. I want those guys that are going to be in the lineup, that are going to get walks, that are going to be hard to strike out, that are going to, drive in 80 to 100 runs. Those are the guys that I want. So
Do you
that's
feel
what I
like
would
it's
build my
easier?
team up
You
as.
feel like it's easier to draft hitters than pitchers?
I do.
Okay.
Pitchers are they can be hit or miss. I mean, no pun intended, but I mean, you don't quite know as much in terms of when it comes to a pitcher. And plus, you're always one arm injury away, right? I mean, that elbow all of a sudden, oh, my elbow hurts. Oh, the velocity is down. Oh, Tommy John. He's out for a year and a half, 2 years. Like that could happen with any pitcher. Um, so yeah, give me the everyday lineup guy. Give me the bat. Give me the guy who hopefully is going to hit 35, 40 home runs. And then if he comes up talking, pay me $100 million, pay him. Pay him the $100 million. Unfortunately, we got Jerry Reinsdorf, who doesn't want to pay anybody $100 million.
Oh
But
yeah, no one's getting 100 million with Reinsdorf.
yeah,
So as far as pitching, you'd rather be. I mean, as far as team builds, you'd rather be the Yankees, which is, of course, they have pitching, but let's just for shits and giggles, heavy pitching, barely any hitting, than the Brewers, who arguably have the best rotation in the league.
and their rotations won them how many World Series?
Very true. Then number 2 would probably be Braves, but some people might put Braves at number 1. But they've also got the hitting. But they don't have Yankees or Dodgers hitting. They still have good hitting, but
I
Fried,
mean, the
Strider, Wright.
The Braves have had great hitting for a few years now. Even when they've lost top tier bats, they've been able to replace and keep moving forward. So, I mean, didn't they lose Freddie Freeman and then bring in Matt Chapman? Do I have that right? Am I mistaken?
I think so. Because Freeman
Like
went over to the
they
Dodgers.
right. And then they replaced him with I want to say they replaced Freeman with Chapman. So
Ra-
you can
Rangers
you
won it
can
all
they did.
with
They did.
without DeGrom and without Scherzer. That's how deep their
And
pitching is.
and the Braves flamed out after having a terrific year last year. So it happens. But yeah, if you're giving me the choice and you say, yo, you want a lineup of just dogs, or do you want a rotation of dogs? Give me the lineup.
Mm. I'm always torn, but for now, because of the Rangers and how they did it without DeGrom and Scherzer, who were technically on the roster, but I don't even think appeared in the playoffs. Or no, Scherzer did, but he got lit up. It's that pitching really came through. But I don't disagree on the hitting because I also grew up on hitting. Hitting is what kept teams in. Hitting is arguably hitting and closers, not necessarily a rotation, is what won the White Sox their chip in '05. Our closers were money. Our hitting was money. Our starters were okay. Burley was an ace, but outside of that, it wasn't anything too crazy.
I mean, our starters had a dope run though.
They
Like
did.
that whole year, Sox was Sox was hitting on all cylinders that whole year, and
That's
especially
true.
in the playoffs. Um, but yeah, that's what I want. Give me that lineup all through, and we'd be good. I can trade for some pitchers. I can find some pitchers. I can sign a guy here or there, trade for a guy here or there, patchwork a rotation up for my fifth starter. Long as two of those guys are I can really rely on, we straight. Because my lineup can go out there and get on base, draw walks, get pitchers in the long counts, and then have left-handed power that can go deep, pause again, no diddy.
No, did
Yo,
he?
we good. We good. That's what I want.
Fair
One
enough.
one of these days, hopefully the White Sox will have that.
Uh, Reinsdorf needs to open the pocketbook because every team that has those, 2 of them are expensive free agents. So we
Big
can't
facts.
get all our hitting from the farm. Eventually, we
Big
have to
facts.
open up the pocketbook.
Yes. Yes. You can't. No team builds it all and wins it all strictly off the basis of their own system. Like that does not happen. At some point, you have to recognize where the strengths and weaknesses of your squad lies at. You have to go out there and you got to make trades, smart trades. You got to make smart free agent acquisitions, and you got to be willing to spend the money properly. That's the foundation of proper team building. Like draft well, develop well, sign top tier, elite, high quality players, and then make your astute trades when you need to for that final push. That's how it's done. In this sport, that's how it's done. The stocks need to do that.
No, I do not disagree.
So yeah, I think we hit on all our topics, man. I think we knocked it
Yeah,
out
I
the
think we
park.
did too.
Hit some home runs. That's what we need to see. Hit some home runs tomorrow.
All right. Well, on that note, this has been another great episode of the White Sox Did What Again podcast, brought to you by JJ3 and me, Harry. And go Sox. We hope they win tomorrow. Start off 1-0, win the series. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you later.